Referees need to be held accountable when they make mistakes. So why does World Rugby refuse to do that? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to give my thoughts on the World Rugby Misconduct Hearing against South African Director of Rugby Rassie Erasmus after he published a video criticising the referee's performance in the first test against the British and Irish Lions. And I'm also going to talk about this idea that the criticism of referees and officials it can't happen. It's a taboo in the world of rugby. I'm going to give my thoughts on that and why I think it's not a good thing. Now before I get into it, please like and share this video to give it a boost. And don't forget to subscribe if you like the content that I make. South African Director of Rugby, Rassie Erasmus, will attend a virtual hearing to answer a misconduct charge issued against him by World Rugby. The charge came after he published a 62-minute video where he criticised the level of officiating in the first test between the South African rugby team and the British and Irish Lions. The four home nations, Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales, as well as Australia, where the first test's referee Nick Berry is from, want World Rugby to come down heavily on the Springboks director. However, some, including former South African head coach Ian McIntosh, has supported Rassie Erasmus for the rant, believing that the game has become too stop-start because referees, they're looking for penalties whether they're material or not. Okay, now just a quick thing. When I say material, I do mean that when something has an impact on the game. So if there's an offside but it's miles away from where the ball is and it's not affecting the play in any way, then it doesn't count as a penalty. It's because it's not material. But referees, and I kind of agree with McIntosh on this, that referees do seem to be the idea of materiality is kind of going out the window. I don't think that's a good thing for the game. Here is McIntosh's statement. It is not for me to say whether Rassie used the correct channels, but I do feel that something had to be done to gain the attention of the officials, because the game has become far too complicated and a stop-start affair. It has been spoilt for players, coaches and spectators. The game has become over-officiated because too many provisions being added each year to the laws. Instead of World Rugby disciplining Rassie, he should be commended and a committee established to revise the laws which are too many, contradictory and in some cases nonsensical. Can someone respectfully inform World Rugby that the laws were intended to keep the game flowing, not stop it, and that the referee should become number 31 on the field and not number 1? Our very own Dr. Danny Craven, a doyen of World Rugby, was involved in writing half the laws, and he once said that behind every law should be written in brackets, but don't blow it if the infringement doesn't stop play from continuing, i.e. materiality. Yet referees seem hell-bent on looking for penalties instead of letting the game go. How else is it possible for an average of 25 to 30 penalties to be dished out in a game? The old adage of blow the game and not the law has gone out the window. And just knowing the laws doesn't make a referee. It's about how they are applied that is the difference between a good and a bad referee. Like a good fly half who knows how to read the game and use the ball accordingly. Now, to go through that statement, I do agree it has become very stop-start, and the laws, some laws have tried to keep the game flowing, but a lot of others have actually made it more stop-start. And he's right when he said the number of penalties has actually increased in a particular game, and it's really making games a bit messy, I think. And I do agree with this idea that the referee shouldn't be the main man on the pitch. But yeah, every single time we talk about it, they're the centre of attention because of the decisions they make. And I also agree with his line that just knowing the laws doesn't make a referee. And that's actually a good point, because Wayne Barnes, I think, is a great example of that, because he knows the laws very well. The only issue is he's not really good at putting them in practice. I mean, the Irish know that better than anyone. One thing that annoys me about World Rugby is that they see criticism of officials as a taboo, that it shouldn't be talked, that officials just can't be criticised. From players to sports pundits to coaches, calling out referees for the mistakes they make is a big no-no. Even one referee criticising another is treated as something that shouldn't happen. Even though officials have a wide range of technological assistance to ensure that the decisions they make are correct, they still make mistakes, because they're human, and they should be criticised when they do. But this idea that criticising officials is damaging to the game is complete rubbish, and I think the fact that the idea of criticising officials is a taboo is what's really damaging the game. Now, what do I think will happen with this charge? I do think Australia and the home nations will get their wish. I do think World Rugby will make an example of Rassie Erasmus and give him a lengthy ban, even though I think it's complete BS, I think. If that happens, then World Rugby will actually show that it's taking a page straight out of the Chinese Communist Party, trying to silence criticism of the organisation. But as we've seen with the Chinese Communist Party, that's not going to end well. So what do you guys think? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. While referees have a lot of assistance to help them make the right calls, they're still human. They still make mistakes. I think it's about time World Rugby remember that fact. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.